Men are avoiding going to nightclubs and women are pissed off about it. Men are avoiding going to nightclubs and women are pissed off about it. Today's video comes from Destro Reborn. His channel will be linked in the description of the video. Women are going out to nightclubs, and now these nightclubs we're finding that they are 90% women at these nightclubs, only 10% men, so 10% Sims. Watching this video to fully understand why women are so pissed off that most men are now avoiding nightclubs, how this affects women, and how this is going to affect society going forward. And now let's go ahead and jump right into the video.
So I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and we was talking about how the club isn't fun like how it used to be.
And I was wondering, like, where's all the dudes? I don't know, but they're not there. And that's cool, not like I care.
Why is there such a drastic increase in men avoiding the nightclub? I mean, I could give you the politically correct answer if that's what you seek. No, but you demand straight facts.
Give me the bottom line, give me the truth, straight up, no chaser.
The truth is, the modern nightclub is no longer efficient for our purposes. I mean, efficiency literally means achieving maximum productivity with minimum wasted effort or expense.
Just to be very clear, the nightclub has not benefited men since the 1970s or even 1980s. And things really began to take a turn in the 1980s with songs like What Have You Done For Me Lately, Miss Janet Jackson, or it's there ain't nothing up but the rent, okay? When women began saying that the only thing that men are good for is what they can do for you. All right. There is nothing else to it. When you go to the nightclubs, even into the mid 2000s, it was literally a bunch of guys hoping to get some action. But the reality is that women were choosing from the highest value men out there, guys with money, the Chads and the Tyrones. You basically did not stand a chance if you were a normal guy. And this goes back to around 2010. So it's been like this for well over 15 years at this point. All right. Even before social media became the cesspool that it is today, the nightclubs had already begun to die, but men were still going out there hoping that they had a chance. If you're a young man and you don't have a lot of money, you will not have women. You will not get girls. That's how those nightclubs have been forever. The truth of the matter is that I completely regret trying to be a productive member of society and, going to college and trying to get degrees and all that other nonsense. The truth is that I should have been focused on building out my business and my brand. I started my first business back in 2001 and I made quite a bit of money, but being a business owner was very difficult. So I ultimately decided that I just wanted to go and pursue higher education and have an easy life. I want to tell you something about the Asians. The Chinese parents, they figured it out before everyone else did. There was a video that I saw on YouTube. I've talked about it before. And there was a Chinese teacher, and he was explaining to his students how Chinese parents view the grading system. A is for average, okay? B is for bad. C is for can't have dinner. D is for don't come home. Let me explain this to you, y'all. A really is for average because the average person is trying to get the illustrious A. The average person is trying to become a doctor or a lawyer or an engineer, and many people don't even aspire for even those things. Okay? That's the average person. The average person is trying to do these things so they can have a better and more comfortable life by attaining these stupid degrees. Then you have an entire segment of the population that are mediocre, and ultimately they decide that they're not even capable of doing the bare minimum, so they want to do literally that, just the very bare minimum. And these are the people who work in fast food restaurants and do food delivery as though it's an actual profession, and then want to be paid a livable wage, while people with college degrees are barely making a livable wage. It's absolutely insanity. And the amount of work that you have to put in to do these jobs, once you get a college degree, is not equivalent to what these people working in fast food are able to do. They have more disposable, they have more time, they end up with more disposable income, and they're happier versus people who actually had to put work in and just to go and get a job in a specific field where then they ultimately don't even make enough to survive. That's how how American society has become. So A really is for average. And if you decide that you want to be the average person, we didn't know this, guys. But think about it logically. Everyone was pushed into college and told that you're going to have this illustrious life, an easy life after you got this degree. You're going to go and get a comfortable job and you're going to have this big title. It didn't work like that. Companies were taking advantage of you. Companies were predatory. And the college degree, the bachelor's degree, became the new high school diploma. All right. If you have a bachelor's today, that's a high school diploma. If you have a master's today, they're like, that's a bonus, that's a plus. We have plenty of those people with these degrees, but that gives you one step up. If you have a PhD, sorry, you're too overqualified. This is the reality that we now live in, y'all. Okay, where people with PhDs are doing like Mickey Mouse jobs, basically trying to land a fast food job or some other BS because they cannot find any real work, and now they have tons and tons of money in student loan debt that they'll never be able to pay off. That's the reality of it. A lot of people fell into this. For me, I should have continued sticking it out, building out my businesses, working hard. I used to work with entrepreneurs. I used to deal with angel investors. But basically, instead of taking their money, I remember one guy, he offered me like $250,000. This was 20 years ago almost. And he was like, listen, how would you feel if I flew over to your college, flew to your university, and handed you a check for $250,000 to for a portion of your business? And I didn't agree to it. I should have absolutely agreed to it. And many of you guys probably would have. It was basically something related to a social network. I had developed a social network. Yeah. Right around the same time Mark Zuckerberg developed Facebook, I had also developed a social network. And I had an investor who wanted to invest in my social network, and I said no. And in the end, I basically wasn't even able to keep it alive, and I had to basically sell it off, and it's dead. Yeah. But guys, I just wanted an easy life. I was like, forget it. I don't need to be Mark Zuckerberg. I could just be basic angry. Back then I didn't call myself angry, even though I was angry. And I thought I was gonna have this easy life. It didn't work out like that. The truth is that if you want to have money, you're gonna have to go and grind for it. You're gonna have to learn business, and you're gonna have to basically suffer. And a lot of people who went to these universities didn't want to suffer, and in the end, they end up suffering the most because you're tricked into believing that you're gonna have an easy life by getting these crap degrees. And then the reality is that that's not true. Doctor, lawyer, engineer, those are all average. Asian parents had it right. The average person is trying to get these jobs. The average person is giving away years of their lives trying to get these jobs, and then they accumulate tons of student loan debt just so they can be average. There is nothing special about being a doctor. I'm telling you, if you have a good memory, you can be a doctor. I have friends who are doctors now. They are the biggest idiots on the planet. I'm just putting it out there. A lot of them lack critical thinking. It's a sad reality. I went friends who and other things who went over to other countries to get their medical degrees. Like, you don't know the lengths that people went to get those medical degrees. You don't know the things that some of these people did to get those medical degrees. Bro, I'm telling you, like, if you ever think you're desperate, you don't know what desperation is. Okay, you don't know what people will do to get what they want in this world. You don't know how the lengths people will go to get that A, all right, to get that degree, to get what they want. And the thing is, and a lot of them, they end up doing these things and it still doesn't work out for them. The key is that you guys, I said this years ago, A is for average, okay? And the average A and the average A student, you'll find the average A student working at the bottom of these companies, okay? A is for average, okay? B is for, and let's see if I remember it. B is for building. How does it go? Basically, the average B student will end up managing the average A student, okay? And then C is for, company, because the average A student is being managed by the average B student, while the average C student is running the company where the average B student is managing the average A student. D is for dedication, because buildings are dedicated to D students, where the average A student is being managed by the average B student, and the company is being run by the company is being run by the average C student. Okay, this is how crazy it is. All right, you'll find that the A students end up working for the B students, and the B students end up working for the C students, and the D students, and then the C students end up working for the D students. This is, guys, I am not messing around. I'm not messing around. Okay? buildings are dedicated to the D students. Okay, it's the truth. It's the honest to goodness truth. Whenever you look at these companies, a lot of times the people who run these companies are the people that they never did very well in school, and they dropped out of school at 13, went and they learned like a carpet business or septic tank business or whatever, and then they went opened their own business, and now they have like a multi-million-dollar operation, and that's worth like 100. I'm not even exaggerating. That's worth like $100 million in multiple locations throughout the world. They're walking around in suits. They've got chicas in their lives. That means girls. They're doing it big, and you get to work for these people who not only did they never go to college, but they never even finished high school. Some of them never even went. All right, they had other things to do. They had more important things to do, unlike you. All right, they weren't chasing that illustrious degree. They had more important things to do, unlike you, that thought that you were going to be out there getting that thought that you were going to be out there living an easy life, because you got that college degree, and it just doesn't work like that.
To calculate all of your recent club experiences, would you deem them efficient? I mean, let's be frank. How much money have you wasted for subpar tenderloin extraction? Let's do the math. You and a group of friends pull your money together to lease a booth, a few bottles, and a disease-infected hookah. Be honest, how much baseline tenderloin did you and your squad obtain from this investment?
So I don't know if y'all saw, but there's this whole discourse going on Twitter talking about why do clubs suck now and why does club culture suck now? And we gonna get into it because I'll tell you why club culture sucks now.
And I finally put some water on my face. I was like, we got grenades, man.
Meanwhile,
And I was wondering, like, where's all the dudes? I don't know, but they're not there.
I mean, are we honey badgers or are we peacocks? Do you fully understand the buying power you just exhausted and how much that same investment would yield you in other markets abroad? I apologize, I'm somewhat triggered by wasted assets on subpar women.
The nightlife industry and nightlife culture around the world is slowly dying. Here are 10 reasons why, but also, David, will it ever come back?
a few moments later.
People are primarily saving up their funds for larger festivals or bigger trips, potentially trips overseas to travel.
Yeah, I mean, people are saving up for trips to Latin America, South America, to Asia.
Passport bros?
Passport bros, but also to Tokyo.
Passport bros?
Passport bros, but also to Tokyo.
To this day,
to this day,
modern women cannot give us a clear distinction between a man being assertive versus a man being quote-unquote abusive. Because what's right and what's wrong all depends on if she finds you attractive.
I feel like what you say, the men are different.
The
men
nicer,
are much more respectful.
No, because like before you could like you be dancing and then after a while you gotta turn back like, who the heck is this? No, I could be pushing back like, he gonna come? Right? Like I hear doing the most work.
Sir, grab this wine.
No, but it's true. They ain't come in for wine no more. Like this kind of watching.
The whole touching thing, because I always used to have an SVD and used to make me so annoyed when you pass people, they gotta touch you.
Yeah, that's
especially
true.
The men. Now,
nobody hands up,
girl. At all. I was surprised when somebody told me, "Hey,
honestly,
it was very shocking."
I'm kind of confused that you guys sound like you're upset. You don't get
because
bum rushed
now
anymore.
Look, when we used to get touched, it was annoying.
You wanted to get bum rushed.
But you go into the complete opposite side. You need a balance. Don't touch me up disrespectfully.
Right.
Pull up on me. Pull up.
If you're not her type, then be prepared for those Trey Songz or Cuba Gooding Jr. allegations in the near future.
One man's flirt, depending on how he looks and presents, is another man's sexual harassment.
Yes.
And we are not doing a good job as women being able to explain why it's sexual harassment versus being an attractive opportunity.
To this day.
You see, guys, when we make these arguments, they say that we don't like women. They say that we are misogynist when we speak truth. And when women themselves make these statements, women basically say that these women are bad. These women are doing the evil. They're doing the work of the patriarchy. When they speak the facts and present the facts, other women turn on them. So you have to understand that right now we are living in a matriarchal society that is designed to destroy us, to enslave us, to control us, and to mess us up. It does not want us to succeed. It is designed to demoralize us. That is what the society is designed to do. Y'all have to wake up and realize that this has been going on for a very long time. All right. If you want to destroy a country, destroy the men. If you want to destroy the men, use the women to destroy the men. Convince the women that they are oppressed, and continually convince them that men are the enemy. Okay? And you have to understand, it's not hard to do. It's absolutely not hard to do, because there's one thing that women will do. It's very hard for a woman to ever say that she's sorry. How often do men in their lives say, "Oh, my bad, sorry about that"? It's very easy to solve a problem. There have been so many fights that I've been able to avoid with other men as an adult by saying, "Oh, my bad, bro. Sorry about that." And now you look like a jerk if you punch me in the face. They're like, "What, bro? Sorry about that. My bad. I didn't mean to." And that's really it. As the men, women can't do these types of things. A woman gets into an altercation, she cannot use the word sorry. She cannot apologize. She cannot simply de-escalate a situation. All right. A lot of times, a simple I'm sorry about that. My bad, man. All right. Acknowledges it. You acknowledge something. You take accountability for it, and then you look for a resolution if there needs to be a resolution that doesn't result in physical physical confrontation. Because men both know that physical confrontation is going to end up with one of them in jail, both of them in jail, one of them and probably one, or if not both of them, deleted over some stupid stuff or severely injured. It doesn't make any sense. As men, you are conditioned to use your head. Only idiots don't use their heads. Okay, it's just like Jordan Peterson said. It's better to be a gardener. It's better to be a warrior in a garden than to be a gardener in war. And the fact of the matter is, to be a man, okay, and that's respectable, you have to be able to do that. You basically have to be someone who is capable of violence. That's not to say that you should use it, but you have to be capable of it. What's happened in Western society and Westernized societies is that our claws as men have been ripped from us. Our masculinity has been ripped from us. Our dignity has been ripped from us. Our humanity has been ripped from us. It's been all stripped away from us in the name of women's liberation. And they continue to say that they are the victims, and they repeat false narratives like the gender pay gap, when in reality women have been out earning men in the workforce since the 1970s. 1970s. Dr. Sowell, all right, Thomas Sowell, said that that women were out earning men in the workforce since the 1970s. All right, he said that there is no gender pay gap, and he also said that there is no pay gap between blacks and whites. This is something that he actually pointed out back in the 1970s, and even in the 1990s, they discovered that women were out earning men. Younger college-educated women were out earning men substantially in the workforce. Their wages simply went down when they left the workforce to go and have children or began prioritizing starting a family. That's when they were more likely to pass up promotions and so forth, because they wanted to focus on starting a family over their career. However, when you adjust everything for education, number of years work, so experience, and all of these things, when all things are said and equal, women have been far out earning men in the workforce for decades, for more than 30 years right now. According to Thomas Sowell, it's actually been about 50 years of women out earning men. And they continue to push this narrative about this gender pay gap. The reason why is because they have to keep pushing it. They have to keep on saying that women are victims. They say that women are powerful victims and men are pathetic villains. And that's the only way that they can survive, by pushing this terrible narrative. All right. It doesn't matter if it's grounded in reality or not. Women do not operate based on reality. They operate based on feelings. They don't have to operate based on facts. They operate based on feelings. So their reality is shaped based on feelings. It doesn't matter what reality actually is. It doesn't matter if the sky is blue. If their feelings say that it's gray, that it's gray. If their feelings say that it's purple, that it's purple. It does not matter what it actually is. It just matters what they feel. And they will nag, they will deny, they will do whatever and say whatever to get their way, because the only thing that they trust are their feelings. The only thing that a woman is loyal to in this world are her emotions. And wherever the wind blows, her emotions will go. You know, I talk to guys and I try to explain how women think. I try to explain that a woman breaks up with you long before she physically breaks up with you. All right. Sometimes a woman has broken up with you decades ago, but she's not going to tell you that she's married to this man. She broke up with this man decades ago. In her mind, psychologically, she is not with this man anymore. So she's actually out there living her life and doing whatever. And she's basically just allowing the man to exist. And the man doesn't even realize that they're split. Sometimes there's obvious signs, for example, reductions in physical intimacy and distance and stuff. But there's a lot of women who are great actresses and you would never know. Filipinas are a great example of this. But even with Filipinas, if you begin to pay attention, there are often warning signs. But a lot of men begin to a lot of men begin to ignore them because they don't want to lose the woman. Certain strange kinds of behavior, like money goes missing. She's like, instead of using money that you give her to pay bills, she's using it for other things, and you just basically keep on giving her more and more and more. Like, right, you're not holding her accountable, and you just, again, she makes sure that your belly is full and that your balls are empty, so you don't ask questions. But the reality is that you're missing all the warning signs that she takes off and disappears for a certain amount of time. She doesn't come home on time. And again, some women are very good at deception. But if you pay attention to her behavior and you do not write off what she's doing, a lot of times she's creeping around on you, she's playing games on you, and sometimes you don't catch her perfectly in the act. Sometimes, like, for example, she may be cheating on you, but when you basically think she's cheating on you, oh, she's actually out shopping. But then here's the thing: when you think you're like, oh, I'm sorry, I was wrong. But then here's the irony: when you think she's out shopping, guess what? She was actually really cheating on you. This is how crafty they are. They are so crafty like this. This is why, as men, you have to be You have to be aware at all times of what you are dealing with, or you will get royally screwed. Okay? You have to be on your P's and Q's at every given moment. You cannot trust anyone. Definitely do not trust anyone in a relationship. You know what's interesting about marriage statistics right now? Statistic wise, women who are in relationships with other women, they have the highest rates of divorce. All right. Men who are in relationships with women, they have the second highest rates of divorce. And so heterosexual relationships have the second highest rates of divorce. Women who are in relationships with other women, they have the highest rates of divorce. And men who are in marriages with other men have the lowest rates of divorce at something like only 30%. Okay? So you have like a 70% chance, as like two men have like a 70% chance that they will make it work versus heterosexual men and women who, like, their rate is like above 50%. Okay? So it's like flipping a coin, and then when it comes to women and women, like, it's just like, it's not gonna happen, little bro. It's not gonna happen. I say little bro, but it's sis. But everybody, you get what I'm saying. Like, it's not gonna happen for them. It's just not gonna work out. Okay. Like, I'm telling you, like, you've got Ellen driving around in her secondhand Porsche right now, but eventually it's just gonna break down, and she's gonna have to go look for a new one. She's gonna have to retire it, and that's just how it is right now. I really said it like that. I really put it like that, because these relationships, they are not meant to last forever, and they do not last forever. You very rarely, how often do you see any of these couples together in their 80s and 90s? You'll see like old dudes together. You'll see like old old guys, old gay guys that are together and they've been together. They're now in like their 70s or their 80s, and those couples, if they make it that far, and those couples last. But how often do you see two old women together? You don't, bro. They break up decades earlier. They could not, it's usually the one that's more the masculine one in the relationship. They get to a point where they just can't put up with that crap anymore. All right. And they can't stick around the way men stick around, and then they take off. And usually, they're both chicks. So, in terms of money, neither of them ends up like having lots of money. All right. Like acquiring wealth and resources is something that men do. That's something that men spend time doing. Women are not as good at that as men are. Let's just be very clear, because men are built to be providers and protectors. So we'll work crazy amounts of hours. We'll work 4 jobs. We'll do everything. We will barely eat and sleep just to provide for our family, because that's our obligation. Women, on the other hand, don't have those same qualms and that same drive, because they don't feel like they have obligations. Men are designed to be providers and protectors. Women are designed to be nurturers and homemakers. But everything is out of balance. So when a woman tries to take on the role of a man, of being a provider and a protector, it just doesn't, she's like, okay, well, I have my girl and I'm a provider and protector now. It doesn't work out, because she cannot put up with the amount of stress that woman is going to bring into her life, and that woman is going to present her. All right. And the irony is that a lot of these women will then go and they'll get angry because like their girl at home is giving them a lot of stress, and now they want to take it out on a man. Like, oh, it's because of you, patriarchy. How is it my fault that your girl is putting you through the ringer, bro? All right. Like, I'm not even involved. It's patriarchy. She would be acting better if it wasn't for men. See, that's how our women operate. It's like, it's a cycle. They know that they're wrong, but they will never admit that they're wrong. Because when they get frustrated, when they get stressed out, what do? They blame men. It's a toxic and abusive thing. We live in a society where women now know that they can blame men and punish men for everything and anything. It's narcissistic abuse. It is narcissistic abuse, what they've been engaging in and what they've been doing to men in Western society. And society has conditioned them to do this, because society basically says, hey, you work as an agent of the state, and you will be rewarded for it by reallocating wealth and resources from men to the state. We will reward you. We don't care how you do it. As long as you do it, we'll reward you for it. You can do it through civil court. You can do it through family court. You can do it through divorce. You can do it through divorce court. You can do it through a criminal court. We don't give a damn how you do it. We're 99% of the time we are going to side with you. We're gonna take that money away from that man, and we're gonna get a cut, and you're gonna get a cut, and everyone is happy except for the man. But we don't care, because we don't like these people. All right, they only exist to serve and provide. All right, we just want their money, and we want them obedient. Okay, we don't want them happy. Happy men are not good for society. We want them to be miserable. We want them to be fat. We want them to be demoralized, so that we can control them. And basically, they'll just work and work and work. They basically live to work. They don't work to live. They live to work. They live to work. And we'll just basically keep taking everything from them until, that's the end of them. And then we'll just keep on rinsing and repeating the process, because they are just born to serve us like soldier ants. This is the mindset of society. Society absolutely despises you and resents you that you even exist, but it still needs you. And as men are now beginning to walk away from Western society, women are beginning to notice that, hey, the men are leaving. They're not sticking around. They're not buying us drinks anymore. They're not buying us food anymore. All right, guys, I put out a video recently where I talked about the fact that doctors, actual doctors, medical doctors, psychiatrists, psychologists, medical experts, even on Psychology Today, all right, on very reputable, I know you guys hate these websites. I know you guys say that everything is crap today, but on so-called reputable health websites, my friends, I want you to understand something, that they are now arguing that men who are avoiding pornography and masturbation, basically plucking the chicken and looking at adult content, are dangerous to women and more likely to engage in misogyny, extreme misogyny. So if you're refusing to watch adult content and engage in plucking the chicken or self gratification, you're a danger to women. This is actually on Psychology Today. And you have these doctors going around on television shows doing interviews saying that men who are refusing to engage in this type of behavior are dangerous to society. Dangerous to society. In other words, guys, I told you that these simps are agents of the state. They are basically doing the job of the state, and their job is to keep men demoralized, keep men fat, keep men lazy, keep men stupid, keep men complacent, but so that tyranny can reign, so that tyranny can take over. All right, and they are rewarded for it by the state. This is a world, guys. This is a world where only men are able to step up and stop tyranny.
Frustrated. Men are not understanding what is the difference and why am I a threat if I'm being kind to you. So because of your behavior, women, I am now going to pull back my finances and resources. I'm now going to reduce my presence. I'm going to reduce my intentions, my efforts, because I don't want what my intentions are in terms of creating connection with you to be misconstrued as sexual harassment because you don't like how I look. I'm not your type.
The nightclub is not only boring, but it's dangerous. Risking your future for a 200-pound five or a single mother six is next level ludicrous. Oh, wait, it seems like we've just received some breaking news. Cobra is now reporting that Monica Leon, aka Danger from The Love of Ray J, has attempted to jump the wall of no return. Unfortunately, according to eyewitnesses, she's failed. Oh, so close.
We're now going to take you live to the scene.
So I'm actually going to just start documenting because this will be a teachable moment for other victims. Because I'm not the only wife out there that has a debilitating disability that can't get out of her marriage. I'm on my way to the food bank to get food because I have no food in my house because my husband got me fired from my job and...
Let me be the first to say our thoughts and prayers go out to another brave post-war survivor. But let's get back to our regular programming.
I'm going to club space by myself, so I'm going to document this whole thing. This is the fit.
A few moments later.
But I'm just trying to vibe, so like, I don't really care. But something that gives me the ick in space is when someone's trying to talk to me. Like, why are you talking to me? Like, do not talk to me right now. This is not the place for conversation. Like, this is, like, please be quiet. I can't stand it.
I have a question for my millennials or my Generation Xers, really anybody older than Gen Z. What did the club used to be like? What did the club used to be like? Because now, you know, it's sections all over the place. People be acting scared to dance. Everybody just going to take pictures, pop bottles. What was the club like before sections?
I've seen several posts about how the club scene is dead, how people in their early 20s to early 30s are extremely lonely, and I think there's a correlation between those two things. I used to be part of the club scene back in 2007 through 2011. First of all, there was no Bumble or Tinder or anything to that effect. If you wanted to meet people, be it friends or people that you wanted to date, you had to physically get out of the house. When you went to these clubs to interact with people, it wasn't something where you could swipe and text and all sorts of stuff. You're physically right there with people. And if you saw a woman that caught your eye, I mean, you'd ask her to dance. If you caught her eye, her and her friends would probably be dancing around you, and you guys would wind up, mingling with them at that point in time. But it was magical because you really got a sense of who you were dealing with right in person.
I'll tell you right now, guys, by 2011, 2012, the club scene was already dying. Yes, you can go there. Yes, you'd find people in there, but women were beginning to have these nasty attitudes. Social media was beginning to take off. It was, you can go, you can go listen to music, you can go have a drink, but I'm telling you, by 2011, 2012, the club scene was pretty much, you had a lot of men still going out, hoping to get lucky. You had the PUA thing going on. I was a big part of that. Trust me, it was a load of absolute total BS and chaos. If you actually want to meet a nice girl, the best way to meet a woman is through friends, okay? If you meet friends and family, you have friends with a guy, you're friends with a guy or something, your friends will often tell, like, if they think you're a good person, this is what happened to me. If it wasn't for the events of 2020, I had a good friend and he had a daughter, and his daughter was really into me. Nice girl in her mid-20s, anime loving, and she looked really nice. She wanted to hang out with me. All right. I had another friend, a really cool guy, good dude, was really good to me. His best friend, he had a girlfriend, but he also had a best friend who was a girl. He tried to set me up with her. Girl was really cool. She was a really educated girl. She was a registered dietitian. She was very she was not for the streets. She had to be home at a certain time. She was like 25 years old, and she had to be at home at a certain time. Be home with her parents because her parents did not allow her to be out in the streets. And that was a great girl. If it wasn't for the events of 2020, things in my life would have not gotten to that point. That year just really screwed up a lot for a lot of people. But that's the best way to meet women. The best way to meet women is to meet them through a friend. For example, like even that same friend who introduced me to his best friend. I also got introduced to his sister, and I got to have a bit of fun with his sister. All right, I'm just being real with you. I'm just being honest with you. That's the best way to go about it. All right, like literally, like fathers can choose who's good for their daughters. Men can choose who's good for their friends. Like that's just how it is. I'm just being real with you. You shouldn't be out there walking up to random women and asking them, because that's what they want you to do, so that you can just reject them. All right, and then their ego gets boosted. Never walk up to a random woman. I'm just being real. If you're standing somewhere and you just end up having conversation with this person, that's a bit different. And if she reciprocates, but even in Western society, don't do it. Like, don't even do it. Don't take the risk in Western society. It's absolutely not worth it. It's not worth getting in a conversation with these people. It's not worth getting into anything with these people, because they really don't like you. They're really just there. A lot of times when women go out today, they go to the bar, they go to the club, they go to the bookstore, anywhere that they go, and they dress provocatively or in a certain way, so that men will approach them. They're basically sitting there so that they can reject men. They are there. They are dressed like that so they can reject 99% of men. All right. And that allows them to boost their ego, to make them feel better about themselves. And then when they accept, if they're hungry and they accept the man's offer, they expect the man to take them out and feed them. They don't actually want that man. You have women I showed you videos of this guy. I'm not going to show you videos again. I deleted my entire archive of videos, TikTok videos, because you guys were like, I was playing the same videos too many times. So I deleted my entire archive of videos because you guys were bothering me about it. But I had a video showing where a woman had just met this dude, and she only knew him for like 24 or 48 hours, and she basically told him to go to Walmart with her, and then she went and picked up her stuff, and then she started demanding that he pay for her groceries, and the bill was like $400 or $500, and she started shaming him to the female cashier and saying that, look at those shoes, he's wearing like $300 Nikes, but he doesn't want to help out. He doesn't want to help me feed my kids. Like, they don't even like. And then when they got to the door, she's like, I'm gonna get rid of this man now anyway. And when they got to the door, he was like pulling the car for her. She was like, listen, I don't even need you. Like, you can get the hell out. You can get out of here. All right. Because she was only with him to take advantage of him, and she wasn't even a baddie. Okay. She was a woman who had kids, and she was just trying to use this man. Women have made it's become so easy, so obvious for women to take advantage of men, and society has structured it and normalized it that no one says anything about it. If you look at the FBI statistics for deletions in relationships, women are significantly more likely to control alt delete their partner than men are. So men have a greater chances of being control alt deleted by a woman in a relationship. But the reason why the government doesn't give a damn is because the women basically say that it was done in self-defense. Women are more likely to also use a weapon whenever they get into an argument with a man. So you have a much greater chance of being deleted in a relationship, control alt deleted by a woman in a relationship than a woman does being by control alt deleted by a man. However, then they talk about violence against women, but they never talk about violence against men and the dangers and risks that men face. All right, men are the ones who are actually at the mercy of women in society. Women are much more dangerous to men in society than men are to women. In fact, statistically, a man is more likely to be robbed or mugged than a woman in society. These are actual statistics. You are more likely to be a victim in society of being mugged or whatever as a man than a woman is. That it's crazy, but women don't care because it's me. And a lot of these women, you have to remember, they were raised by the narcissistic generation known as the BOOMERSs. So of course they're going to come out like this. You have the boomers giving themselves a pat on the back because they're like, well, look at our kids, look at the millennials, and look at Gen X. We did a pretty good job there. Sure, we were narcissistic abusers who left them with PTSD, but guess what? Gen Z is so bad that we deserve our praise. The boomers did a terrible job. The boomers did so much harm to Gen X psychologically. They did so much harm to Gen X and older millennials that these generations ended up overcompensating with their own kids, giving their kids as much as they possibly could because their parents were so terrible to them. They gave them way too much money, way too much freedom, gave them they validated their emotions way too much because the boomers were so nasty. And how did the boomers end up this way? It's simple. The boomers were mean. The boomers were like, everything belongs to me. This house belongs to me. The television belongs to me. All right, everything. And if you work, if you go out and get a job, your money belongs to me. It all belongs to me. I am God in this house. Okay, I am God. God said, I am God in this house, and then there's God. But I am God in this house, so you better fear me because I'm His representative. This is how these people were. And here's the irony: their parents were not like this with them. They got everything that they wanted. Their parents did not put their hands on them the way that they put their hands on us. All right, so you're like, where did they learn it from? Basically, the boomers were so scared that their kids would end up, standing up to them, and they were so resentful of their kids because they stole our futures while we were in diapers that this is the path that they took. And it wasn't. You have to understand that it was also the era. This is the reason why there's some people who had silent generation parents, but they were just like the boomers, and they raised them just like the boomers, okay? Not all silent generation people were good parents. It was a lot of it was the era that people grew up in. For example, I'll give you a good example. There's this channel, I'll show you some videos from this channel before, and there's a mother and daughter. The mother's like in her she's like in her early 50s. She's a baddie. The mother is a hardcore baddie. She's a baddie. She's in her early 50s. She has like a 31-year-old daughter. And then she has a Gen Zer who's like 20, 21, somewhere around there. And, the mother and daughter, they make videos together. The Gen Zers in the videos sometimes, but the mother and daughter are always in these videos dancing. And, this is how they make their money. The Gen Zer is so lazy. She won't even try to learn her dance moves. She'll walk out of the videos and the millennial will basically put Gen Z said I'm out. Like Gen Z she is so lazy. It's a generational thing. It's the era that people grow up in as well. A big part of the problem with Gen Z is social media. But it's also that they were given way too much. They were given way too much. They were told that they were special. Everything was validated, and that's the reason why they turned out the way they did. But you have to understand, a lot of it happened because of how bad the boomers did. You have to have balance. You have to make, for example, there's some Gen Xers who were like, okay, you know what? I'm not going to do to my kids what my parents did to me, but I'm still going to make them work for things. So, for example, I'm not going to ban them from having a life. I'm not going to make their lives completely miserable. But, if they want something, they're going to have to, let's say, do some chores, or I'm going to make them, get a job after school and only work a couple of hours. Okay. Well, that'll teach them responsibility. I'm going to teach them survival skills. Okay. I'm not going to give every single thing to them, but I am still going to take care of my kids. When Christmas comes around, they will still get nice presents, but they're not going to get they're not going to get everything that they want. I'm not going to have my kids struggling for lunch money. All right. Like some kids did. I want to make sure that they have a nice lunch. I'm going to make sure that their basic needs are met. I want to make sure that they always have food. They always have a roof over their heads. They always have clothes. They're not going to have to worry about any of these other things. Okay, guys, the boomers were so stingy and so cheap. They would let their kids go to school hungry. They would not give them lunch money, and they had the money. These people had tons of money, but they could care less. They would let you go. They would rather let you go hungry than give you a few dollars for lunch. That's how the baby boomers were. They were frighteningly cheap, frighteningly stingy. But of course, they loved themselves, and they would rather throw the money away down into a pit of pyramid schemes than to help enrich the lives of their children. and they had no problems putting their hands on their children. My father once took his the knuckle. I shouldn't say the knuckle, but like, for example, if you take he wanted me to, like, I was, my mother was pissing me off, and I basically stood up to her. I stood up to her for the first time in my life. I stood up to my mother, and he basically walked up to me, and it would have been better if he had just, punched me in the head with a knuckle. He had just punched me with his knuckles. No, he basically formed, took one of his fingers, and he smashed me in the head and almost broke my skull. I had to go straight to the hospital and get x-rays to make sure my skull was not fractured. And he felt so good about this. I was only maybe 13 or 14 years old, and he almost broke my skull. All right? This guy used to beat me into submission. He was a religious fanatic. And for example, it was always homework, bed, homework, bed. But then at the same time, you always had to be ready for church in the morning. So one day, he starts beating the living hell out of my brother, and I'm sitting at the table doing my homework, and then he's like, "What are you doing?" "I'm not doing anything." "No, you're doing homework. You should be reading the Bible." So then he grabs a bunch of belts and starts beating the living shit out of me for doing homework. Oh God. And then you wonder why, guys. That's why Gen X says we were the ones that survived. We grew up in the most dangerous of environments, and our parents were never around. We were always alone, home in the dark, some of us, because we better not turn the lights off because we don't have that kind of money, and we don't want problems when they come home. So we basically send for many of us, there was no television. Some of us grew up with no TV. Okay, when I was growing up, my parents used to actually lock the television away in this thing so that we couldn't watch it. And there were no books. So no TV, no books. You have the Bible, and that's it. And sometimes we didn't even have that. These people were psychos, and then you look at how society is today, and how society is trying to control your thoughts, everything that you think and see. That's how the boomers were. These were detestable, evil individuals, and that's one of the reasons why society is the way it is today, and why modern women are so narcissistic. All right, why a lot of women are so narcissistic and treat men so poorly, because they were raised by these people. Oh gosh. But guys, don't ever forget, nothing lasts forever. Nothing lasts forever. And guys, women are basically facing hardships right now. The future for women is a lot of hardships. It's going to be a lot. There's going to be a lot of destitution, poverty, women living in shelters, living in the streets, living in the woods, because men are not going to be subsidizing their living anymore. And while women are going around saying that we don't care, they're going to be at home crying. All right, they'll be, guys. I told you there was another video. I don't have access to it. I don't know what happened to it. But this guy was interviewing homeless people. He basically went into the sewers, storm drains where people were living, and it's dangerous down there. And he started interviewing this one woman, and he just kind of flipped out on her a little bit, because she started saying things like, she's like pushing 60 in her 50s or pushing 60, but she looked like in her 60s, but she was she was kind of busted. And he was asking her, why is she living down there? Why doesn't she have a relationship? Where's her husband? Why does she have a husband? And she basically says that she's waiting for the right man, and she knows exactly what she deserves, and she's not going to settle. And he's like, Felicia, you are living in the sewers right now. All right? You are delusional. She's like, no, I'm not going to settle. Bro, you're in the sewers. Stop it right now. And so there are some women who basically, they will stay on their hill. They will stay in their delusion. They will live in their delusion, and they will never leave their delusion until the very end. All right? Because they would rather, the only thing that a woman, like I said before, the only thing that a woman is loyal to are her emotions. The only thing that a woman will ever trust in this world are her emotions, even when they lead her astray.
Immediately, whether or not you had chemistry with that person, because you'd be talking to them and dancing with them for, maybe an hour or two, So I really hope that the club scene comes back, because I think that it will be something that benefits people in their early 20s to early 30s, just the way it did for us.
But wait a minute. You didn't smash the bell and press the like button. Blast.
Guys, the club scene is not coming back, y'all. The club scene cannot come back. M2 scorched the earth. Men know not to mess around in Western society anymore. This is the reason why you have women who are now attacking men for playing video games, saying that they don't want to see men playing video games. They don't want any male-dominated spaces. Women are the ones responsible for prohibition. They're responsible for prohibition, and they're responsible for ending it because they could not survive without getting drunk. So that they demanded that the government repeal prohibition. But they are solely responsible for prohibition. Okay? They protested against bars and said that men were becoming too rowdy and that alcohol was making men dangerous towards women. So in the name of protecting women, they demanded that alcohol be banned. And then, they discovered that the ban wasn't working because they wanted to basically keep men from talking to one another, getting to the bar, going to the bars, gathering, having conversations, because they wanted to separate men. This is something that women have been fighting for 100 years, to separate and isolate men so that they can take control of society and do what they want to do in society. All right. And when they had the bars closed down, men started going to coffee shops and meeting in coffee shops. And then these women started protesting the coffee shops and demanding that coffee shops be shut down and claiming that these coffee shops were a danger to women. It was absolutely ridiculous. And then eventually women turned around and said that we can't live with alcohol anymore because we need to get drunk. The feminists said that they could not live without alcohol anymore. And they demanded that the repeal of drinking laws. And of course, they couldn't have it. They could not say, well, ban it for men and not for women and allow only women to drink. So they had to have those laws repealed. And what ended up happening is that's how prohibition came to an end. It was all women's doing, all the doing of women. All right. It's always been about controlling men mentally, physically, controlling our ability to reproduce, controlling our ability to enjoy, physical intimacy. It's because you have to remember that we're dealing with people who absolutely they hate us. They absolutely do. They do not like us. They resent us. They don't want us to exist. You have to understand that women will never actually feel equal. It took time for me to really comprehend it. It's impossible for women to ever be equal to men because they will never feel equal to men. In other words, it doesn't matter what it says on paper. It doesn't matter if women are earning the vast majority of college degrees. It doesn't matter if women control the vast majority of all wealth in the world. None of these things would ever matter because unless women say that they actually feel equal, none of these things matter because we're basing everything around their emotions, and they will misconstrue reality and facts based around their feelings and then choose from the feelings that they like and then basically, use statistics that align with their feelings, regardless if those statistics are rooted in society and reality or not. Just like the gender pay gap, they keep on citing false statistics, but it doesn't matter because people believe them. And the simps, who are also agents of the state, will then go along with it. And the average man does not, for a long time, never even call them on any of this stuff. So you hear these statistics and you just believe them. When the reality is that you need to, everything that you hear, treat it like it's a lie and then look for the truth in the lies, because we live in a world where we're surrounded by lies all around us. So women are going to be the ones who ultimately suffer greatly because men are walking away from relationships, dating, and everything else. And come 2030, 45% of all women are going to be childless and single, and that's going to be very hard for women. Very, very hard for women, especially in hyperinflation, because women were not designed to live without a husband. And you're going to see it. The world is going to literally look at America and westernized societies, including China, and say, how did women end up in the terrible state of destitution that they are in Western society in such a short period of time, guys? History rhymes. That's what Mark Twain said, I believe. History rhymes. And just like there was like a 1918, 1919 global crisis, if you know what I mean. Very similar to what happened back in 2020 with us, and then everything basically was closed. Very similar thing happened back then. Although not everything shut down. But guess what? When did the Great Depression happen? 1929. 1929. We're almost in 2025, y'all. We're almost in 2025, and again, History rhymes. Look at the state of the economy. We're being told that everything is good. The economy is in wonderful shape. We absolutely know that things are terrible, and yet they're acting like we're back in another roaring 20s. Okay? We are basically primed for a major collapse. And when it does happen, everything is going to be for sale. The difference this time is that men are not going to be buying from women. All right, there will always be simps out there, but men are going to be avoiding women left and right in Western society. Passport kings, by I told you that, how does it go? These right now the passport king thing is it's becoming a normality. Normality, right? So normalities become tradition. No, tradition. How does it go? Traditions become normalities, and normalities become traditions. Something like that. Basically, we're in a stage right now where it's becoming normal for men to go overseas to find a relationship with a woman overseas outside of Western society. So it's now becoming a normality, and eventually it's going to become a tradition, where it's going to be a tradition for men, if they want to be in a relationship, to go overseas and find a relationship overseas and to avoid relations in Western society. Women will never admit in Western society that these men are not picking them, that these men do not want to have relationships with them because they do not want what they're offering. It's not about them being a baddie. It's about the personality, the way they carry themselves, and a lot of it is also the body counts. They are being rejected, but they will never accept that they are being rejected. This is the reason why simps and women are furious that men are walking away and going overseas, and they're attacking women over there, shaming women over there, saying that these women are poor and all of these other reasons. And they damn well know that that's not the reason why men are leaving. They know that the reasons why men are leaving is because they don't want to have relationships with these women. They don't want to deal with these women. They don't want to deal. They don't want to. They're not buying, because men basically are the gatekeepers of the relationship. Women may be gatekeepers of physical intimacy, but men are gatekeepers. Men are the gatekeepers of the relationship. Men are the protectors of society. Men are the gatekeepers of prosperity. Without men, there is no prosperity, because men built society and they maintain society. Okay? And right now, when you look at Western society, men don't have a dog in the fight. A man that does not have love for family or for country will fight for neither. Okay? And if you look at what's going on with the Pentagon is literally saying that we need a draft reinstated as quickly as possible. All right, not to prepare us to go to war, but because our military is so depleted that we are not able to address. If we have like an earthquake or a national disaster, or a natural disaster, anything happens along those lines, we are not able to mobilize the military to help society, to help the people. Okay. So forget about even trying. We do not have a military sufficient to protect ourselves. Forget about that. We don't even have a military to help one another in a time of national emergency. The military is absolutely overwhelmed right now, and it's far below, and it's completely depleted. 50 years ago, we had almost 2 million people, 2 million reservists, 2 million people in the military reserves. 50 years later, we have less than 200,000. We are now roughly 1/10 our military reserves. Our military is now roughly 1/10 the size of what it was 50 years ago. 1/10. We have a military 1/10 the size of what our military was 50 years ago, even though our population has increased so much. And back in 2020, 77% of Gen Zers were not even suited to serve in the military because of obesity, substance abuse, mental health issues, and mental incompetence. And that was 4 years ago, guys. Fast forward 4 years later, and we know it's closer to 90 or 99% right now. So these kids can't do anything, okay? Guys, we are in complete disarray. I had this idiot trying to argue in the comments earlier that he disagrees about BRICS currency. BRICS currency isn't real. It's not coming. It's not going to replace. It's not replacing anything. It's never going to happen. These people are in such copium. So many of you don't know what BRICS is. BRICS is basically a currency that's going to be used as the new reserve currency of the world. And it's basically between Brazil, Russia, India, South Africa, and Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Those economies represent 40% of the world economy, and basically whatever you need to make purchases for products from one country to another, this would be the currency that you would use. The petrodollar is also dead. So, for example, Saudi Arabia says that they're no longer using the United States dollar as the reserve currency, the only currency that can be used to purchase oil. So the petrodollar is no longer a thing. But look at this idiot. He goes, angry guy, if there's one thing that I don't like about this video, it is the claim that BRICS will replace the dollar, because it is incorrect. BRICS is really just an idea for some finance guy concerning the countries involved that did way too well. Hell, India and China and INC in BRICS are enemies. Expecting them to work together to make a currency that replaces the dollar is laughable. I responded to him by saying these countries make up 40% of the global economy, and most of our consumer goods are produced in these countries. You're really taking a lot of copium here. Guys, these are the same people that said, guys, this is not a bot. This is not a bot. This is a real person, guys. They think like a bot, but it's a real person. I had one person try to argue me under the table that we do not need boots on the ground. There's not going to, these countries like China and Russia, they're preoccupied. There's no way that they could ever pose a threat to us. Any country right now, they're too busy, they're too broke. And we have drones, we have artificial intelligence that will basically protect us, Death Star style. But the point is, Roger this, we do not need boots on the ground. We do not need boots on the ground. Guys, who the hell are these men? Who in the world would basically say this type of thing, would be in this level of denial? The fact, guys, these Sims, guys, I told you, Sims are the enemy of humanity, and they are the agents of the state. Look at the manosphere. The manosphere is rife with Sims. The manosphere is rife with Sims. I put out a video for you guys. A video for you guys discussing a bit of this. And in the video, I talked about the fact that only fools models are infiltrating the manosphere. They are all over the manosphere. They have flooded the manosphere, and they are basically they're hitting every single base. They're going after the passport. They're going after the passport kings. They're like, oh my gosh, the passport kings. Guys, I have a video. I have a video that I showed you guys, a couple of videos. There's this one woman named Victoria Litt, and she basically makes videos directed to the massive manosphere, claiming that she's a TradCon wife and all kinds of crap. I don't even think this woman is married. She has an OnlyFools page, and what she does is she uses her TikTok to guide men over to her Instagram. Then she has one of those link trees in her Instagram bio, but it's like she poses as a website, and then you basically get her OnlyFans page. A link to her OnlyFans page, OnlyFools page, and I've seen her material, guys, and she goes hard. She goes hard, there's nothing left to the imagination. All right, and of course she has over 200,000 likes on there, 200,000 likes. So she's making bread. She's making tons of bread while pretending like she's a TradCon wife, and she basically puts trad wife in her bio. I don't think this woman is married, okay? And she has her own she has other OnlyFools ladies in there, and these women are all tatted up heavily. She's going after the trad wife movement. She's going after passport bros. She's going after, I'm serious, she has videos about she identifies as a trad wife, and she's basically mimicking and saying the things that men have been saying forever. And the MGTOW said that women would do this, they will mimic you. So basically, she's making videos about the passport bros. Oh, and basically regurgitating these points. She's making videos about soft guy era and saying drizzle. All right, women know exactly what they're doing to hurt us. They know exactly how they've taken advantage of us. They know they're not stupid. These are adults. It's a level of evil and wickedness and narcissism because they absolutely despise us. So what she's doing now is she's hitting the manosphere hard, because the manosphere is rife with Sims. The manosphere is full of Sims. I've said it plenty of times, because they have nowhere else to go. And then what they do is they basically then go to her page, and then she's basically giving them she's giving them the attention that they want. It's like they're actually in a relationship with her. This woman is running a business. She's running a large business. And when I went to her page, her OnlyFools page, it says available now. How is she available right now? Oh, because it's an agency. So basically you hit her up, and you're talking to some other dude in Romania who's basically like, oh, hello, friend, I love you so much. You so exy. What can I do for you? You don't even know it's a bro that you're talking to. All right? You're talking to a man. You're talking to a man, bro, who's running and operating this business. Okay? and she's just basically a distributor that's providing the content. This is a sad reality, but simps don't care because they're called simps for a reason.
Know that there's a trend encouraging men to all get passports and travel abroad. It's not just for sights or good food. No. It's to find wives, to find women who are more traditional. They're traveling all across the world just to find women who are more humble, more feminine, and willing to treat their men better than women in the US. Traveling to places like Italy, Thailand, Brazil, just to find women who will treat them right. The passport bros ideology is that they're escaping the hatred of feminist women and are traveling somewhere they can thrive. They believe the ideology that by seeking foreign women, they can find a more authentic, fulfilling, and harmonious relationship. This is seen as a way to restore the natural balance between masculine and feminine energy. This is triggering some women because they think that these men are interested in finding these women. They think they will be more submissive. I'm not sure if this trend / movement is going to end or only get worse. What do you guys think?
Guys, so basically she's just preaching to the choir. She's recruiting as many men as possible who feel demoralized, and then she's directing them over to her corn so that these guys will then pay her lots of money. Okay? Because she's very attractive. But she's tatted up, and she's not doing it by herself. She also has her friend, and like she'll have a man that comes in. He's like, okay, you guys get to work, start cleaning. Guys, that's the dude that's making the content, making the corn with them. All right. So they're basically targeting the manosphere. They're covering all their bases, and they're not going to stop. This is a ripe new space for them. All right. This is where the manosphere is rife with simps. There's tons of lonely men here. So they're going to basically put the message out there, act like they care, and then sell. The simps will come to them. It's just like Twitch, guys. It's just like Twitch. How Twitch was basically it used to be called Justin TV, I believe, and it was just a bunch of dudes streaming games. And as soon as it started to become popular and women began jumping on the site, a lot of guys were like, "This is going to turn into a campsite." All right, the girls are going to turn this into a campsite, and they were screaming misogyny and all kinds of stuff. And what is Twitch now? It's a campsite. You have hot tub streams. I mean, it's disgusting the stuff that is on there. All right, they're allowing women to like basically walk the line. There was a girl who was getting full on clapped on stream. She basically got like a 1 week staycation, while other guys who just say the wrong thing on there are called misogynists and banned for life. That is how the platform absolutely works. It's basically a soft core platform that allows women to funnel simps and poor demoralized simps and demoralized men and boys over to their corn, and then so that they can milk them. All right, it's absolutely disgusting. And if you call them out on it, they scream misogyny. You look at women like Pokimane, and she doesn't. And she said that I thought that we moved past this. Discussing these types of things. It's misogyny. All right, stop saying these things about girls, bro. You're over there taking advantage of these men and milking them. She knows that she's milking them. How do you know that? Because at one point she put a restriction on her streams so that people could only donate $5 at a time, because men were going onto her stream and donating their entire paychecks to her. Entire paychecks. That's so messed up. Okay? And she's filthy rich as it is. She's filthy rich. And these men were donating their entire paychecks to her. And she basically was like, okay, I got to put an end to this because these men are destroying their lives. You had guys that were giving people like Amaranth like tons of money, like giving them her life, giving this millionaire. This woman is a millionaire. She's worth like maybe tens of millions of dollars at this point, giving this woman their life savings. And she was happily taking it. Guys, it's a sick, sick world. It's a sick, sick society that we live in. You have to wake the hell up and wake up. You have to wake the hell up and be alert to these types of things. We are all being controlled. A lot of even the infighting between men. What man do you know? Like there's even guys think many of you don't even know the history of groups like the Kitty Cat Club. The women had their own version of that. All right. All of that infighting between men, black men, white men, men of different races, it was all about women. It was all over women. What man do you really know? I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but what man do you really know is going to get out of his bed in the middle of the night to go mess with another man? We are all men. We damn well know we don't have time like that, especially if we have work in the morning. Especially if I'm working on a farm. Come on, y'all. We just want to go home, have a cold drink, and relax and unwind, because we've been out there in the world battling, doing battle in the world all day long. We don't need to go and fight with another man, especially based on the color of his skin, over some nonsense. All of it, but you know what will drive men to go and mess with another man? To protect the women. The women are at danger of these men. These men pose a danger to our wives, to our daughters, to our mothers, to our sisters. We have to be very, very careful. That's how it happens. And how do these ideas enter into the heads of these men? Women and simps. Look at this little boy. Look at that little black boy. What was his name? Can't remember this kid's name, but he basically went down to the state. Something Till. All right, something Till. You know, this poor little kid went down there, and this white girl said that he made a pass at her. And what ended up happening? He ended up getting deleted. He ended up being Control-Alt-Deleted. And this one basically lied. And even if he had, that's what he was deleted for, making a pass at her. You've got to be kidding me, guys. You've got to be kidding me. And all of this, and it destroyed the community. No one wants to live in a community where someone is going to be deleted because someone said that, a person made a pass, like a woman says that, he made a pass at me. He told me he found me attractive, wanted to have a relationship with me. So what? So what? All right? No one wants that in their backyard. But guys, I'm telling you, all of this stuff stems from women. Women crying wolf. But guess what, guys? It's not going to work this time. They can scream wolf all they want. Men are not going to come to the rescue. Men are not going to bail them out. When bad things really start to happen this time around, they can cry for the state to come and the state's enforcers, but they're not going. The state's really not going to do much for them, because if a woman is not able to reallocate wealth and resources from men to the state, and the state is not able to use women to reallocate wealth and resources from men to the state, then the state really doesn't care much about them. Okay? The state does not value them as much as they actually think that they do. Guys, you have to wake up and realize that nothing lasts forever. And while we're talking about that, guys, that one of the things that I've actually done recently, it's pretty cool. I really enjoyed this. I have my own little thing called the Angry Guy Clubhouse. There's a link to the Angry Guy Clubhouse in the description of the video. I post articles on here daily and everything. It's everything from wealth, from like things like creating wealth to like everything. Think crazy little things like Thanos' blunder. This is basically our space. This is my community. So it's better than locals. It's better than locals. It's better than Patreon. This is, believe it or not, this is a social network. This is a social network, and it allows me to run my own website, so I can actually set up my own domain here. And you guys, if you want to support me, you can come over here. Everything is free on here. 99% of everything in the Angry Guy Clubhouse is free. And you can come in, you can check it out, you can chill. It's so cool. We have a chat. So for example, we have a podcast section, and you guys can come listen to some of the podcasts. Really awesome. We have an extended video section. So we have videos from YouTube that, there are longer versions of our videos that we have. So some videos are longer. Like there's more minutes to it. So for example, if we go to this video right here, let me see here. Like this one right here. Gen X grew up alone, surrounded by danger. We actually tell you exactly where the video starts. So, for example, this is an extended version of the video posted on YouTube. If you're watching this video on YouTube, you can keep watching where things left off at the 20-minute mark. So you know exactly where to start the video. It's stuff like that. We have the podcast. We have chat. You can talk to me through chat. Send me a message. We have guides. So, for example, if you want to learn how to build wealth, this is awesome. We have a bunch of guides. This is for paid members. How to build a thriving business. And it's only $8 to join. But like I said, 99% is free, and you can even unlock. You even have 4 articles. You even have the ability to unlock four paid articles a month. So you can basically pick and choose what articles you want to unlock. So how to build a thriving business empire and have fun doing it. That's one of the guides we created for you guys. Mark Cuban's Billionaire Blueprint, from mac and cheese to millions. Unlock your path to passive income with our complete affiliate marketing guide for beginners. And we have another great one, the Blueprint for Escaping the Rat Race. So you have all of that in there. And then on top of all of that value, you also, when you sign up, it's basically it's just your email address. You basically in addition to the podcast and the stories, the articles, you also get a free copy of our digital nomad blueprint that goes directly to your email. So you get that emailed over to you instantly. And so that it's at the very top. It's at the very top of the email. So because some people were like, angry, I don't know where it is. It was in the email. It was at the bottom. But some people were like, I don't know where it is. Okay, so now we put it at the very top. So when you sign up, you get it. It's at the very top of the email. You get access to that blueprint. You can start to help rebuild your life, change your life, do better for yourself. Because guys, things are not going to get better. They're only going to get worse. So you have to be out there. You need to grind. You have to work on yourself. You have to protect yourself, because this is a hard economy. It's a harsh world that we live in, guys. This is a very, very harsh world. This is a cruel world, and you need to be aware of it. And you need to be constantly on your grind, or else you're going to get destroyed. But guys, what do you think regarding all of this? Men are avoiding going to the nightclubs, and women are pissed off about it. Let me know your thoughts. We'll talk about it in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA, men walking away, and cheers.